Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited. Brazilian blimp takes a slow-mo dive ahead of game. Lawyer wins $3.3 million after snowmobile helicopter crash. Young Eagle surpasses 2.4 million flights given. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Brazilian blimp takes a slow-mo dive ahead of game. On September 25th, a Brazilian blimp decked out with São Paulo Futebol Clube gear was sent to pump up fans before a major game. However, this display had the opposite effect when the ship came crashing down in a neighborhood, sending residents running. The ADB 3-3, produced by Airship do Brasil, was hired by the soccer club to fly during the team's Copa Libertadores quarterfinal game against Rio de Janeiro club Botafogo. Pilots were running a test flight over São Paulo's Osasco neighborhood when the accident occurred. Spectator footage showcases the blimp taking a slow dive toward homes, nearly 4 miles from where it took off. The cockpit landed in the street, leaving the deflated ship blanketing buildings and power lines. Luckily, though the blimp is capable of carrying up to 7 people, only a pilot and co-pilot were on board. The São Paulo Fire Department reported only 1 injury, with the pilot hospitalized and expected to make a full recovery. The day was rough all around, with the São Paulo Futebol Clube taking a loss of their own. The team made it all the way to penalty kicks before being defeated by Botafogo. And after the break, storm damages historic CAF UC-78 Bobcat. Restoration begins.
I think it's a very important thing to share the joy and love of flying. Our customers fly to remote places. They use our products to go places that are difficult to get to. Hertz has been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support, as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demands. And it is that shared experience and the joy of flying that brings us all back and charges all of our batteries up.
The legendary BD4C program is building an exciting future for those who want a rugged 4-seat family flyer with a proven history. The SureWings program produces a complete kit and builder assist program that gives you everything you need to be flying a BD4CS in record time. For conventional kit builders, BD Aviation has parts, partial kits, and full kits for the 190-mile-per-hour BD4C that has logged thousands of hours. Visit SureWings.com and BDAviation.com for more details.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Storm damages historic CAF UC-78 Bobcat. Restoration begins. The Frontiers in Flight Air Show in August promised to be a fun and exciting weekend at McConnell AFB in Wichita. However, the weather had other plans, as a powerful storm produced a strong microburst that disrupted day 2 of the show. The microburst blew down tents, scattering debris across the field and damaging multiple aircraft, including the CAF Jayhawk Wing's 80-year-old Cessna UC-78 Bobcat. Damage to the Bobcat was mainly in the tail section, but the Jayhawk Wing is committed to repairing the damage and moving on. Kissimmee Airport feeling heat over landing fee plans. Kissimmee Gateway Airport is taking heat from pilots of all stripes because the city commissioners unanimously voted to adopt a measure to begin assessing landing fees at the airport for the first time since it opened in 1940. The ordinance sets a fee of $3 per 1,000 pounds of aircraft weight for each landing by transient aircraft. Those based at KISM would be exempt. Public comment in opposition didn't sway the unanimous vote away from the bill. However, implementation of the fees was delayed until after another public hearing, which will be held on October 1st. Boeing's UK E-7 Wedgetail completes first flight. Boeing recently executed the first functional flight of its UK E-7 Wedgetail. The aircraft is one of 3 undergoing modification at Birmingham's STS Aviation Services in preparation for delivery to the Royal Air Force. The E-7 airborne early warning and control aircraft operates on the Boeing 737-700NG commercial airframe. It features a multi-role electronically scanned array surveillance radar to detect long-range targets and threats. EAA recognizes Representative Rick Larsen for FAA reauthorization efforts. The EAA formally recognized Representative Rick Larsen, Democrat from Washington, for his bipartisan efforts working with House and Senate leaders to pass the FAA Reauthorization Act of 2024. The EAA recognition took place on September 25th in the Rayburn Room at the Capitol. The Reauthorization Act mandates the expansion of Basic Med, increasing the size of covered aircraft to 12,500 pounds, the number of allowable passengers to 6, and the number of seats to 7. In addition, the bill establishes a maximum deadline for completion of the Mosaic Final Rule at 24 months. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Questions arise. Lawyer wins $3.3 million after snowmobile helicopter crash. What's wrong with the legal system? Here's a possible case in point. Lawyer Jeff Smith crashed his snowmobile into a Blackhawk helicopter in 2019 and was recently awarded $3.3 million in damages. Smith suffered severe injuries in the accident. The crash occurred on March 13, 2019 in Worthington, Massachusetts. Smith was allegedly coming from his parents' home where he had a few beers with dinner before leaving to meet his brother on a known trail. He was driving in the dark and noticed the vehicle's headlights reflecting off of, quote, something, though he didn't stop to see what it was until he crashed into it. Smith was discovered, quote, face down in the snow by the helicopter crew shortly after the accident and was airlifted to a trauma center. The Blackhawk had landed on an FAA-approved airstrip, but the government was sued for $9.5 million in damages. The government was not having it and made attempts to have the case thrown out on the basis that a policy decision was involved under the Federal Tort Claims Act and criticized Smith for drinking and speeding. Smith's lawyers countered, accusing the crew of negligence for parking a 64-foot-long aircraft on an obsolete airstrip. In the ruling, the government was held 60% responsible while condemning Smith for unsafely operating the vehicle. Still, he was awarded $3.3 million in damages. After these messages, Young Eagles surpasses 2.4 million flights given.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
Welcome back. Young Eagles surpasses 2.4 million flights given. Young Eagles is the EAA's youth aviation education program, giving flights at no charge to adolescents and teens along with a parent to stimulate interest in flying and aviation careers. In 2024, more than 38,000 kids were given flights, with the typically active fall flight period underway. We can't wait to see what the full year total will end up being. Young Eagles also had a succession in leadership when Jimmy Graham, an NFL All-Pro tight end currently with the New Orleans Saints and an active Young Eagles pilot, moved from the co-chair position to the role of Young Eagles program chairman. This was done during the EAA AirVenture Oshkosh 2024, and he replaced airshow pilot Sean D. Tucker. David Lighting, EAA's Eagles program manager, observed, quote, "It's been great to see Young Eagles activity return to pre-pandemic levels. As we headed into the always active fall flight rally period, our volunteer pilots had already flown more than 38,000 Young Eagles in 2024, and we've welcomed more than 700 new pilots into the program this year. We thank all our pilots and ground support volunteers who are planting those seeds with young people that will keep aviation vibrant for years to come." End quote. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.